So, I want you to listen to this very much, mga anak, no? Bakit na-discard siya? Okay, ibalik ko na lang. Okay, nawala siyang bigla. May napindot ako. Okay? Pag hindi nang maigi yung problem, importante yung subject na to. Akala nyo lang ngayon. But eventually, makikita ninyo yung kaalagaan niyan. Okay, so current slide. Okay, so this is the step. Ayun, parang galing na ako dito Ayan, ulitin ko lang yung sunod-sunod ng ating mga slides. Ayan. So, natapos natin yung tatlong step, natapos natin yung fourth step. Ito yung formula ng ating C-test. So, base sa given natin, ang naibigay is population standard deviation.
Kaya naman tanod book kayo ni Bay.
Okay, ano yun?
Tanod book kayo ni Bay.
Ano yun? Hello? Paki-off yung audio kapag hindi related sa usapan natin. Okay, computed value of Z-test is 5.75. So what do you think? Mataas ba ang computed sa critical or less than? If we're going to analyze the data based sa critical value at computed value, ang critical value is the tabular value. Okay, alin ba ang mataas? Computed ba o ang critical?
Computed po.
Computed.
Computed
So
po,
kapag
sir.
mataas ang computed, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung pinaliwanag ko sa inyo kanina sa C-test. Yung mga instructions that I gave you. Okay, balikan na lang natin. Ito yung mga ipinakita ko sa inyo sa slide kanina. Dapat nakukuha ninyo yan. Okay, bumilis yata. Ibali nang maulit. Yan. Okay, pakita ko ulit, no? Sa pinakababa, makikita niyo. Dito yun. If the computed is less than, accept the null. But if the computed is greater than the critical value, reject the null hypothesis. So in our situation in this given problem that I am showing you, na nakalculate na natin, in this given problem, specific problem, tandaan niyo yung mga terms na yon. In this problem, na nag-formulate tayo ng null, so ibig sabihin kung i-reject ang null, it is not true that mu is greater than 70,000. Hindi totoo na yung sweldo ng college din nag-average ng more than 70,000. So tingnan natin, no? Yan yung mga nice nating patunayan. The computed value is greater than the critical value. Therefore, reject the null hypothesis. So it is not true that the average salary of college student is more than 70,000. Yung iba, minsan mas maliit pa pala. So conclusion, accept the alternative hypothesis. Because it is not true that the average salary of the college dean is more than or lagging more than 70,000. Yan ang ating pinakasagot, yung conclusion. That's the way how do we solve problem. And we can only do that if we have the given data. We have the proofs. Hindi yung basta sinabi mo lang na ganito, paniniwalaan mo na. Kailangan meron kang proofs. At yan yung ating computation. Meron kang basehan. Meron kang sufficient evidence to claim that it is not true. That's how we work with statistics. Okay, napakalaga ng papel na ginagampanan yan. Okay, second one. T-test. Sa totoo lang, ang totoong tawag sa t-test is students t-statistics. Ang function It may be used as a model for testing hypotheses about the mean pa rin ang gagamitin natin of normality distributed population. Typically, the procedure is used to determine whether the population of interest differs significantly from the norm group. Okay, no? T-test tayo. Kapag t-test, kailangan less than 30. Palagi yung respondents natin. Kapag 30 na or pataas, z-test na yan. Pero kapag dumami ng konti yung mga variables, f-test na yan. Hindi na t-test at z-test yan. So this is now the one sample t-test. It is actually a procedure that is used to know the mean difference of the sample and the known value of the population mean. Okay? Sample mean pa rin at saka population mean pa rin. Parang z-test lang. Kaya lang, lumiit. Less than 30. We draw a random sample from the population and then compare the sample mean with the population mean. And then, same thing, we have to make statistical decision as to whether or not the sample mean is different from the population. Dito, ibang table na ang gagamitin natin. So may sariling table na ginagamit kapag t-test ang ating stat tool na gagamitin. Sa exam ninyo, ibibigay ko naman yung table. Hindi ko pwedeng hindi ibigay yung table. Correct ko lang yung spelling, no? Number of observation in the sample yan. Okay? So ito yung formula na ginagamit natin sa t-test. Computed value for the t-test is mean minus mu times the square root of n over s. Okay? And s is equal to the square root of summation of x minus x bar square all over n minus 1. So ito yung ginagamit natin kapag sample lang. Pero kapag standard deviation by population yan, ang denominator is magiging n lang, hindi n minus 1. Sa sample, lagi tayo nagle-less ng 1. Okay? So, continue. T as one sample t-test and x bar as the sample mean, mu as the population mean, S is the sample standard deviation. So, standard deviation tayo after pagdating sa t-test. N is the number of observation in the sample. So, same procedure lang, nagbago lang yung formula. Okay, nagbago lang yung table at saka yung formula. Yun lang ang kaibaan ng dalawa sa t-test. But the procedure is still the same. Look at it. Assumptions in one sample t-test para alam niyo kung kailan yan gagamitin. Sample drawn from the population should be random. Population must be approximately normally distributed palagi, parang sa t-test. The population mean should be known. The cases of the sample should be independent. Sample size should be less than 30. So, lagi kong binabanggit yan, less than 30. And let me show you a sample problem. One of the undersecretary of the DOLE, Department of Labor and Employment, claims that the average monthly of an employed civil engineer in Middle East is 150,000. Yan daw yung average monthly salary ng isang empleyadong engineero sa may Middle East, 150,000 daw ang average. So merong 20 civil engineers na ginamit bilang sample para ma-prove natin na tama yung claim, no? So nag-research. It so happened the respondents are 20 civil engineers. And yung salary nila nung sinagot yung questionnaire, nung kinalculate yung mean salary ng 20 engineerong yan is 130,000 ang lumitaw sa calculation. And nakakuha sa calculation ng standard deviation na 10,000. Isn't it? 20 lang yan. Makukuha mo yung mean, makukuha mo yung range, makukuha mo yung standard deviation based from your descriptive stat. Now, the question is there enough evidence to reject the undersecretary's claims at the degrees of freedom? So dito may degree of freedom na tayo na n-1. Now, how do we calculate for the degree of freedom? You always look at the number of respondents that we have. In this given case, we have 20 civil engineers. So, n is 20. So, degree of freedom natin is n minus 1. So, 20 minus 1 is 19. Importante alam mo ang degree of freedom kasi gagamitin mo yan sa table at saka yung significance level na 0.01. Now, is there enough evidence to reject the undersecretary claims at degrees of freedoms of 19? Okay, paano ba yung null hypothesis natin katulad halimbawa ng ginawa natin kanina? So, paano ko isusulat ang ating null hypothesis? So, how do we state the hypothesis here? I'm giving you ample time. Siguro okay na yung 1 minute. Ample na siguro yun. Para maibigay nyo sa akin kung ano yung ating gagamitin na null hypothesis. What do you think is it? Yung nakasagot kanina, si Jeline. Okay, Jeline, may plus 5 ka. Okay, sasagot ngayon, may plus 5 ulit kung makakatama. What do you think is the null hypothesis here? You always look at sa pambungad ng problem, no? Problem. Ano yung pambungad na statement? Kailangan matuto kayong mag-analisa ng mga problem. Kala nyo hindi lumilitaw sa engineering board exam yan. Lumilitaw yan. Ito, dito kayo mag-analyze. Dito kayo mag-hypothesize. Yan. Bigyan na kayong in. How do we hypothesize? What is then the right null hypothesis that we have to write so that we can start solving the problem? Saan pa ba ako magtawag? O, Duway. Pakinggan mo nga, boses mo, anak. O, ano yung null hypothesis? Subukan mo lang.
X is greater than 150,000.
X is greater than 100. Sino yan? Si Duway ba yan? Okay, basahin mo nga uli, anak. Yung binilugan ko.
Si Montoya po ata yun, sir.
Sino? Montoya? Okay,
Ako
basahin
po,
mo
sir.
nga uli, Montoya.
Yung ano po, sir? Problem po.
Yes, yung ano lang, yung naka-red mark lang.
Billion in Middle East is 150 pesos.
Ano? Pakibasa uli.
Ay, 150 150,000 pesos.
Okay, yun lang. Okay, the average monthly salary of an employed civil engineer in Middle East is 150,000 pesos. Ano yung right mathematical notation that we have to use for our null hypothesis? You take a look at your verbs. Linking verb. Linking verbs, ito yung mga linking verbs, ano? Kailangan alam niyo yung mga yan, ng mga English sentences. So, spell ko, no? Linking verb that will connect the subject and the predicate. So, linking verb. Hindi ako nagtuturo ng English, no? Linking verb yan. So, ano ba yung mga linking verb? Linking verb natin, yung is, yung are. Kapag sinabi mong is, kapag sinabi mong are, kapag sinabi mong, o kaya ibahin ko yung mga connecting words, no? Can be, can, more, less. Okay. Is yung ginamit na linking verb. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Ano yung mathematical notation na ilalagay ko?
Equal
Simpleng
po, sir.
algebra lang yan. X,
Is equal to 150,000.
yes, ganun lang. Kapag sinabi mong is, definite yan. Definite. Ibig sabihin, yun na yun. Equal talaga sa 150,000. Hindi can be. Okay? Hindi less or more. Wala naman naka-indicate na greater na or more than eh. Isang sinabi, sakto. So equal. So ang ating null hypothesis is mu is equals to 150,000. Dalawang bagay lang, equal o hindi. Kung ang null mo, na-claim mong equal or yan, at ang alternative mo naman doon is magiging not equal. So kapag hindi equal, ibig sabihin, reject mo yung null hypothesis. Pero kapag equal ang nakuha natin, accept mo yung null hypothesis. Okay. Ina-accept lang ang alternative kapag nire-reject ang null. Kasi wala ka namang ibang option. Dalawa lang. The null hypothesis or the alternative hypothesis. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-between kasi wala kang decision na makukuha. Walang actions na magagawa. Okay, proceed. Okay, one tail, two tail. Hello? Is it one tail or two tail?
Two-tailed po.
Two tail, okay. Two tail siya kasi because of the equal and not equal symbols that we use. And that's it. Since two tail dyan, okay, ang level of significance natin, it was already mentioned here, that 0.01. Okay, level of significance is 0.01. Okay, kapag two tail, and determine the degree of freedom, 19. Ile-less lang natin yung number of respondents sa 1, so we can have 19. So yung 19 at saka yung 0.01 na level of significance, gagamitin natin sa pagdetermine ng critical value using the table. And this is the table. Okay, critical value is 2.861 daw. Bakit? Bakit 2.861? Ganito yan. Yan niya. Di ba 0.01, two tail? Ito yung table actually exactly ganyan. Kaya lang shortcut ko may 17 mayan, may 16, 15, 21, 22 yung sa confidence interval. So one tail, mamarkahan ko yung two tail. So ito yung 0.01. So sa 0.01, ito yung degree of freedom 19. Dito sila nagtugma, 2.861. Yan yung critical value. Ganyan ang tamang paggamit ng table. Ito siya, no? Ito yung 0.01 na level of significance natin. Naka-align siya sa two-tail. At below of it, continuation, makikita yung degree of freedom na 90. So yan. Ito. Dito sila nag-connect. 2.861. So we already have a critical value of 2.861. Okay? Since alam mo na yung critical values in the table, dyan pa lang papasok yung right time na mag-compute ka ng computed value. So computed value, we got it negative 8.94. But take note, kaya na nakuha ka ng negative, assume mo pa rin plus or minus yan. Kung makuha ka ng positive, assume mo pa rin plus or minus yan. Okay? Plus or minus. Okay? So we have plus or minus 8.94. And this is actually greater or less than the critical. Hello, class. Is it greater or less than the critical? Nasusundan ba ninyo, mga anak, yung discussion natin? Bakit yata walang sumasagot? Less than or greater? Ito yung critical natin, no? 2.861. Ano, greater ba o less than? Simple lang ng tanong, nakikita na ninyo. Di pa kayo sumagot. Ay, naku. Jeline, greater ba or less than? Greater. So kapag greater, reject ba ang null o accept ang null?
Reject.
So reject natin. So make a decision. Computed value is greater than the critical, so we have to reject the null hypothesis. That only shows that we have to accept the alternative hypothesis. Yan, accept HA. So hindi totoo yung claim. Tama? Hindi totoo yung claim. So that is the conclusion. Again, your learning activity na assignment ninyo to be submitted next week, including your quiz and then your finals. Ayan, dalawa lang. using z-test and t-test. Similar lang sa mga binigay ko. Hindi ko na pinalitan yung mga character. No? Gusto ko lang kayo ma-practice. Parang giveaway points na yan. Parang blessing niya na ibinigay sa inyo na nasa sa inyo na lang kung accept niyo hindi. Okay, bonus lang yung mga yan. Alam ko naman na medyo pressure na kayo. Okay? Questions so far? Dalawa lang ang naibigay ko and then yung isa sample lang ang naipakita ko yung Pearson's correlation. Actually, marami yan, kaya lang wala na tayong time. Doon na sa time. Tapos next week is foundation data. Thank you and God bless. Meeting muna tayo.